March Madness is off to an absolutely ripping start. And I'm not even talking about basketball. I can't remember an NFL free agency period that started like this. Absolutely crazy. Cowboys chaos, Jets doing the most Jetsy things possible. And it doesn't make sense, but it seems like the Raiders are the adult in the room. But first, some breaking news. The Minnesota Vikings have signed one Kyler Murray to a 1-year deal, effectively ending the J.J. McCarthy era after 2 injury-plagued years with terrible numbers and a lack of leadership. Is this the end of the J.J. McCarthy era, or is this just a developmental pause that will help him be their franchise quarterback for the long haul, which is what they thought they drafted? Coming out of Michigan, national champion, of course, hail to the victors. It's been injuries and just underperformance. So I think JJ got his way and sent the other JJ to the bench. Cue the gritty. We've seen this before where it worked. You looked at Caleb Williams after his first year, you thought this was a bust. He did have physical talent, his escapability, his God-given gifts are amazing, but first year was very, very tough, and last year he looked like an all-world quarterback, what they thought they drafted. So I don't know if JJ will get that chance, but we shall stay tuned. Definitely interesting to see if Kyler Murray has his little homework clause in Minnesota, but we shall see. The Dallas Cowboys. The goal was to sign some linebackers, switch to a 3-4 defense, shore up the defense, use your draft capital, and it just didn't work out. Back to the Raiders. They went and they signed N'Kobe Dean. They signed Quay Walker. They signed the guys the Cowboys were looking at. The Cowboys didn't get any of them. We whiffed on everyone. So now we trade Oso Digizua and Solomon Thomas, bag of balls. The only thing that could make this make sense would be if they sweep in and they get Crosby. Although he posted last night that he's happy to stay a Raider and he's committed to being a Raider. The Raiders, they spent a lot of money. They're going to draft Fernando Mendoza with the first pick. And the Raiders could legit be good next year. But I don't know if the Cowboys can come back in and put another offer together like the Ravens did. And hats off to the Ravens. The deal fell through, and they literally, instantly turned the page and signed Hendrickson. So they kept their 2 first-round picks, and they got Trey Hendrickson. I don't know. It's not too bad. I think Hendrickson's ridiculous. Bengals doing absolutely nothing. They're just losing guys left and right. But if you're the Ravens, talk about the pivot. Where's the pivot from the Cowboys? The Cowboys want Max Crosby. They don't get him, so then they get rid of 2 guys on the defensive line. Doesn't make sense. But I think that for more insight on the Cowboys, we should bring in our co-host, Front Office Phil. Stellar insight, Phil. Thanks. I think the best story for me personally, because it's a miserable story, is the New York Jets. They draft a quarterback. He sucks. They watch him get punched in the face, but I can't even pronounce his name, and that's why nobody says who punched him in the face, because you can't pronounce his name. But that's another story for another day. Gets punched in the face, broken jaw over an airline ticket or something ridiculous, and that's it. That's the end of the Geno Smith era. Until it's not, and he comes back. So I don't know what they're looking to do. It just seems a team that whenever there is a move to be made, they either don't make it or it's the wrong move. You draft a quarterback, he doesn't work out, so then you bring him back years later, and now all of a sudden it's supposed to work out. I don't see it. I just don't see the direction of the team. But again, living in New York and being around Jet fans who are probably one of the worst fans, nothing as bad as the Philadelphia Eagle fans. But the Jets just being the absolute jettiest of all time, which makes me as a Cowboy fan just sleep a little bit more easily because I can always say at least I'm not a Jet fan. And as for March Madness, the real March Madness, college basketball, the most wonderful time of the year, there's nothing better than taking a day or two off from work and you have a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday of nonstop games. You just have action from 12 o'clock until about 12 o'clock. There's a bunch of pools, different things you can get in. My favorite one is you pick every single game, and then you get a point plus the seed. So if you pick an upset, you get rewarded. If you pick all the one seeds, you better get it right at the end because you're really getting no points. And I think that's the most fun thing, again, because we don't have, like we talked about last week, the Jody's pool. I think, my opinion, and I'll check with you, Phil, later. I think Michigan, Arizona, Duke, those are your three, and Houston. I love Houston. I just think that they're well coached every year. They play defense every year. But I think that the past couple of years, we've been going down to Atlantic City for day 2 of the tournament. And whether it's the Borgata or the Ocean or wherever we go, I think one of the funnest things has been watching the real deal degenerates that all of a sudden, the first year, I'll back the story up a little bit. First year, we noticed that randomly in the beginning of games, people are just going nuts, screaming, yelling, clapping. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then we realized they were betting on the first team to score 10 points. So at peak degeneracy, all of a sudden, it's like betting on the coin toss, the Super Bowl. People are betting on who's going to score 10 points. So instantly there's an uproar. And the way they pace the games, it's like there's always something going on. And in the Borgata, in their like ballroom where they have the TV set up, like you're looking at probably a couple, maybe 200 people in there, if not more, getting liquored up nice and early on a Friday morning or a Thursday, depending on which day you go. We usually go Friday, and just people going nuts from like literally the first 4 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game. So it's like instant action. It's a great time of year. Again, people getting together, going out, drinking, having a good time, watching these games. The buzzer beaters, the upsets. I mean, the one losing to a 16 with Virginia a couple years ago. I mean, completely wild. We've had some Cinderella teams recently. St. Peter's from New Jersey, from Newark a couple years ago was a big one. It's definitely more fun to have that kind of mid-major flair, that Cinderella story. Now, granted, they don't have, big Power 5 conference players, but none of these mid-majors ever really do. You'll have a couple of guys that'll be, you have a couple 7-foot bigs that are like ridiculous, and you'll have a white kid that could shoot from half court like consistently. But other than that, these guys can never put it together, and that's why they are in the conference that they're in. But there's always that time where a team gets hot, and it's a lot of fun to kind of ride them and see them take out some teams like a Duke or like an Alabama. Miami of Ohio's. We're already talking about it. Are they going to make the tournament because they lost? In my opinion, they absolutely should. They won 30 games. Like, they have to be in the tournament. Now, are they going to get bounced in the first or second round? Probably. But who are they going to be? A team from the SEC or the ACC or Big Ten that's like 500 or below 500, I guess 500, and they're going to get in over a team that won 30 games? Can't happen. They're going to lose in the first round? Probably. But can't happen. You got to put those teams in. But this is all the storylines of March. Again, most of this stuff, I don't know about college basketball, but most of the professional sports, I think, in a certain, again, real or fake, I think there is some riggedness to it. I don't know if that's a word. If it is, great. If it's not, coin a phrase, riggedness. I feel like the college basketball March Madness tournament is the greatest tournament, bar none, in sports. I think it's the best championship, better than the Super Bowl. The run that you have to go on. Think about all these teams that win their conference championships and then they go on to win the national championship. Like, you won a lot of games in a row. Like, you are. Now, granted, now you have some kids that they play for a different team each year. They're like older than me. They're literal men playing against boys. Always deliver. I don't think of any time where I've said, wow, that tournament sucked. It doesn't suck. It never sucks because there's so many teams, so many storylines. Think about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl sucked. If you didn't hit a box, Super Bowl sucked. Sorry, Seattle Steve. The Super Bowl sucked. It sucked. Wasn't good. The tournament every single year brings it. And I don't know if it's because I take a day and a half of work off. I go to Atlantic City. I watch people betting on the first to score 10 points, which is absolutely absurd that they even can do that. But they do it, and they go nuts. And honestly, it is kind of fun to watch. But again, when you don't have a $10 in a dream pool like Jody's, where you could throw $10 up and try and win $1.6 million because some idiot tried to claim it on his taxes, which is absolutely absurd. If you don't know what I'm talking about, rewind the tape, go look at last week's episode because we went through that in detail. The greatest pool of all time. But now we have to manufacture it. So we do the pools, we pick every game, or we go and we bet on the first to score 10 points, something absurd like that. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's the best time of the year. It's March Madness. And I think this March, the beginning of March, we got treated to a wild NFL free agency period. And I really am looking forward to the finish of this month into April with a ridiculous tournament where I hope the Michigan Wolverines cut down the nets. And I hope they beat Duke because I would love to shove it in. Well, he's not here. I would love to shove it in John's face that we're singing Hail to the Victors and Coach K is crying and Shy is crying and everybody's crying because they're just miserable. That being said, that will be my prediction. A little segue there. As far as the tournament goes, it's bragging rights. It's the local stories. It's the St. Peter's of the world. It's the mid-majors that come out of nowhere. It's just a great time of year. I think it brings up an interesting point that I kind of stumbled on. So another natural segue. You go to play in the national championship. Are you looking to play Cinderella, a team that kind of came out of nowhere? Or are you looking to play like an arch rival, like a blue blood heavyweight fight? Do you want to go into the national championship and say, we won it? Be an 8-point favorite. You can't even bet on your team because you don't want to give the 8 points. Or do you, like me, want to play Duke and be a pick'em? And take the chance that you very well could lose. But if you're going to win the Natty, you want to win the Natty against the top competition, even after a grueling tournament. If it's up to me, I don't want the easy ride. I want to beat my arch rival. I want to beat Duke. And that's a real win. And that's what I'm talking about. Beat your arch rival in the national championship. Get a real win. And that brings us to real or fake. This week's real or fake. How about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide?
Babe, you're going to get canceled. Stop.
And this has been Real or Fake and Cancel Corner all in one. Stay tuned next week for the next version of Real or Fake, which could easily turn into Cancel Corner. March is a great time. So I want to know. I want to hear from you. Cowboys, what are you doing? Just what are you doing? Go get Max Crosby. Why not get him? You traded Odigizua. You traded Solomon Thomas. Do it so that way you could go get your guy. You freed up some cap space. You got rid of your depth on the defensive line. So go get your stuff. Go get your guy. Listen to me. Go get your guy. But again, my other interesting question. Do you want to beat your rival or do you want to have a cakewalk? Do you want to face a Cinderella upset where you got nothing, where they have everything to prove, you got everything to lose, but you're favored by 8.5 points and you're probably going to win the game? Or do you want to go against Duke? If I want to win it, I want to win it. In my humble opinion. What's your humble opinion? Give me a comment down below. There's a quick one today. Got a lot of things going on. We want to hit all the topics. I hope you're seeing the shorts that we got going out. Some of them pretty funny. Just instant reaction to the craziness that's going on right now. Drop a comment. And listen, you're part of the family. Give me a point of view. We want to hear from you. All right? The texts and everything are great. The calls are great. Drop a comment. Let everybody else get involved. Let's hear your point of view. You don't want to just hear from me. And I know you want to hear from him. Again, I mean, front office Phil, killing it. 2 weeks in a row, killing it. I don't know. Maybe John, maybe he comes in like Willis Reed. He comes in hobbling because he's got no hips or whatever. And he comes in and we rip each other and it's fun and we laugh. Maybe we have an IPA or maybe we just have a water. We're getting old. But if not, front office Phil, absolutely crushing it. Crushing it. Knocking the cover off the ball. But listen, appreciate you guys hanging out. This has been a lot of fun for me, as it always is. Drop a comment. Tell me what you think. What about your team? Did they do enough? The Giants. Another episode. We don't even talk about the G-Men. They signed a coach. That's what they did. What else have they done? They got rid of Wandale Robinson. What else? Who'd they add? Anything worth talking about? The Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. No. Die, Eagles, die. We don't want to hear from you. Best thing to come out of Philly since Rocky. Cheesesteak. That's it. That's it. Terrible fans. Gross. But anyway, hate the Eagles, hate Philly, hate all things bad. I don't know. Drop a comment. Show some love. Let me know your point of view. Who you like? Who do you got in the tournament coming up? Who you looking forward to see? What's the biggest upset? Is Wagner in the tournament? Probably not. Maybe Hofstra. Pride of Lion. We'll see what happens. We'll catch you later.